Mapping the astral terrain, where most travelers get lost. Opening transmission. There is a realm behind the eyelids where time forgets its sequence. A place where sound exists before the ear, where thought shapes light and light becomes meaning. This is the astral world. But while many speak of it with poetic awe or metaphysical excitement, few understand its structure. Even fewer know how to navigate it, and almost no one can reliably map it. Why? Because the astral terrain is not a place. It is a mirror of mind, energy, karma, and unintegrated desire. A realm where the inside appears as outside, and where the untrained traveler, unaware of this principle, is doomed to become lost in a maze of their own projection. Today, we journey together into this subtle cartography, so that you may not only travel the astral consciously, but return with your clarity intact, and with your inner light even more luminous. Let us begin. 1. The layers of the astral. It is not one realm, but many. Most people believe the astral plane is a singular, floating, dreamlike dimension that exists somewhere above or between physical life and the afterlife. But the reality is more nuanced. The astral realm is layered like a spectrum of vibrations, from the dense astral closest to physical emotion and personal thought, to the middle astral, where collective archetypes, ancient memories, and thought forms dwell, to the high astral, where symbolic geometry, subtle beings, and pre-thought intuition float like veils in a temple of stillness. Each layer is accessed not by distance, but by resonance. The more awake your awareness becomes, the finer the layer you can access. But the more scattered your awareness, the more likely you'll fall into the dense astral, filled with confusion, emotional echoes, or entangling dreams. This is where most travelers get lost, not because the terrain itself is inherently dangerous, but because they don't realize they're looking into a projected mirror, and mistake the reflection for something objective. 2. The mirror effect. You see what you are. In the astral, there is no objective environment in the way we experience here on Earth. There is no light from a sun, no solid structure made of molecules. Everything is made of meaning, and meaning bends according to your inner frequency. If you enter the astral with fear, unresolved wounds, suppressed desires, or hungry identity, you will encounter astral landscapes shaped by those forces. You may see entities that seem malicious, but in truth, you are seeing your own fragments. This is the mirror effect, and this is the first major pitfall of most travelers. They believe what they see is real in the objective sense. They don't realize it is a personalized feedback loop of unresolved material taking form in symbolic shapes. The solution? Stillness, not control. Clarity, not interpretation. The more you can observe without grasping and feel without being swallowed, the more the terrain begins to stabilize and the mirror becomes a window. 3. The pull of the subconscious currents. There are tides in the astral world. Just as the moon pulls the ocean, the astral is pulled by collective human emotion. This is why some parts of the astral are filled with ghost-like remnants, obsessive patterns, unfinished thoughts, even artificial dream constructs created by millions of people thinking the same thing for decades. Think of it like a gravity well of human energy. If you're not rooted in presence, you may get pulled into one of these currents and spend your time wandering inside a looping dream made by other minds. Some travelers find themselves in buildings that never end, in towns with no roads out, or in scenarios that repeat endlessly with slight changes. These are subconscious loops. They are not evil, but they are sticky. The key is not to fight them, but to realize you're dreaming while inside them, and to anchor your consciousness in the silence behind the movement. Only then can you rise above the loop and continue deeper inward. 4. Astral entities, real, symbolic, or both. One of the most disorienting things for new astral travelers is encountering beings. Some seem benevolent, some confusing, some terrifying. But how do we know what is real and what is projection? The answer is subtle. In the lower astral, most beings are fragments of your own psyche or collective human memory. In the middle astral, you may meet archetypal forces, embodied symbols of inner principles, like a radiant mother figure who is actually the principle of nurturing, or a warrior whose presence awakens your inner strength. In the higher astral, beings of genuine awareness may appear, but they never impose, they never force interaction, and they always radiate a deep stillness. A true guide will not entertain your fantasies, they will dissolve them. A false guide, on the other hand, will amplify your ego or feed your need for story, power, or comfort. The way to tell the difference: if the being dissolves as you become more silent, it was your projection. If it remains but grows more transparent and luminous as your mind quiets, it may be something real. But even then, what matters is not who they are, but what you become in their presence. Do you awaken or do you escape? The answer reveals the truth. Why most astral explorers get stuck. Despite the beauty and mystique of the astral world, most who try to explore it eventually plateau or become disoriented. Why? Because they do not refine their preparation. They enter the astral from a scattered mind, or a body in agitation, or a life lived out of alignment. This lack of preparation creates distortion in the signal, and distortion in the signal leads to distorted environments. Even worse, some begin to prefer the astral over physical life, using it as a fantasy escape. But the astral is not meant to replace this world, it is meant to reveal it. The clearest travelers use the astral not as a playground, but as a laboratory of consciousness, a sacred mirror to accelerate their evolution, and that difference in approach changes everything. 6. What anchors you in the astral and what unravels you? There are only a few things that truly anchor you in the astral. 1. Stillness of mind. 2. Lucidity without craving. 3. Energetic clarity. 4. Sincere intention, not curiosity, not control. But many things unravel your presence. Chasing imagery, getting emotionally pulled into stories, trying to assert your will too strongly, becoming fascinated with phenomenon over silence. Presence is not created in the astral, it must be established before entry, through meditation, subtle breathwork, and the softening of the personal self. If you do not anchor yourself first, you will become the puppet of the realm. If you anchor in stillness, the realm bends around you and reveals its deepest layers. 7. How to navigate the astral without getting lost. To navigate the astral consciously, follow these principles. 1. Enter from silence, not story. Begin your session only after stilling your thoughts and energy. The clearer your field, the clearer the mirror. 2. Be the observer, not the actor. Do not get pulled into roles. Let the imagery arise and pass like clouds. 3. Stabilize your awareness in your energetic spine. Feel the subtle line of light from the base of your body to the crown. This keeps you from dispersing. 4. Use light as your compass. If you encounter shadow, look toward stillness, not reaction. The more silent you become, the more light appears. 5. End the journey before exhaustion. Leave while you still have lucidity. This trains the system to return voluntarily. 8. When the astral becomes transparent. Eventually, if your awareness matures, the astral becomes less vivid, not because it disappears, but because your need for form decreases. You begin to see through it, and what remains is spacious presence, not shape, not color, just awareness knowing itself. This is the bridge to the causal, to the root of both astral and waking life. And when you return to your body, the world feels slightly more open, slightly more dreamlike, and your life becomes slightly more sacred. Closing reflection. The astral realm is not a place. It is a language, a luminous syntax of energy and symbol, of memory and possibility. It reflects you not because it is designed to confuse, but because it is meant to purify your seeing when you stop chasing meaning and become still enough to receive it. The terrain stops shifting. The maps begin to draw themselves, and you no longer travel outward, you travel inward, where the map and the mirror become one, and you realize you were never lost. You were simply looking for yourself in a world made of your own light. Next transmission preview. How to tell a symbolic dream from a real astral encounter. In our next journey, we will explore how to discern between dreams shaped by the subconscious and real astral projections where consciousness exits the body. We'll uncover the subtle signs, energetic traces, and practical tests to help you know what's real. If this sacred map helped you understand your own inner landscape more clearly, I invite you to walk deeper with us. Subscribe for more transmissions like this one. And if you feel the pull to go further, you can explore your own personal mantra or birth chart transmission to awaken the inner compass within. Let this wisdom ripple through your stillness, and may you return to the waking world, a little more lucid and a little more free.